Ladies and gentlemen, let me read you this. This is 2 hours ago. Wyoming GOP censures Liz Cheney for vote to impeach Trump. This is absolutely fantastic. This is what needs to happen. President Trump already controls the Republican Party, rightfully so. He's accomplished more in 4 years, especially in terms of foreign policy. The Abraham Accords, being the first president to step foot in North Korea and begin détente between North and South Korea. Economic deals between Serbia and Kosovo. He was the first president in decades not to have started a long-term military engagement in a new theater of conflict. And he opposed the Lincoln Project, which now all their skeletons are basically tanking them as a political organization. The skeletons, I should say, are coming out of the closet. And they slithered out of the Republican Party from the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld years into the Democratic Party. And guess who opposed them? Trump. So if you didn't want never-ending interventions and regime changes, which is what Liz Cheney's father helped get us into. So if you didn't want that, you voted for President Trump. It was a moral imperative to do so. If you didn't want never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Democrats, oftentimes liberal Democrats, a great many progressives, didn't care. So now the left, the progressives, the far left, they're finding out that the Democratic Party is just this huge racket. You see what's taking place now. There's forced to vote. Democrats have no intention of voting for Medicare for All or Green New Deal legislation or universal basic income. They just use that to funnel the angst and frustration of the far left back into the Democratic Party. That's what AOC and Bernie Sanders are there for. That's what their job is. It's pretty obvious, and they're honest about it. It's not like Bernie Sanders and AOC are making this big fuss about Medicare for All. They know why they're there. This relates to the Wyoming GOP censuring Liz Cheney because Democrats speak with one voice. Republicans speak with numerous voices. The never-Trumpers, the people who are kind of in the middle, like McConnell, Lindsey Graham, and then the people who support President Trump and 74 million Americans, like Devin Nunes, Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, Ron Johnson in Wisconsin, Rand Paul. You have these people who stand up for principle. You might not agree with them, but at least they pick a side. The reason you have all of this chaos in American politics is that there's no pushback. Republicans used to serve as a foil, or Democrats and Republicans were the opposite of one another, or at least served to keep each other they served as an opposition when the other party was in power. This is the reason why we have, all the problems we have today in politics. Republicans don't speak as an opposition voice, or they don't speak in the same. They don't have the same goals in mind when they had the House. They don't have the same goals in mind now when they're the opposition. Hit subscribe right now to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're back on our way to 200,000 subscribers. Go to hagoodman.com right now. You could read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Roanoke Times, The Federalist. You could see my debates. And tell your friends about this channel. Word of mouth is so important, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be doing something really amazing very soon. I can't wait to tell everybody. And it's something that you are going to love. And many people who watch are going to want to be part of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be awesome. But why is it important that Wyoming GOP censures Liz Cheney, just like the Nebraska GOP is about to censure, has basically already done so with Ben Sasse? The never-Trumpers have to be kicked out of the Republican Party. Trump is not synonymous with being a despot or a tyrant or some kind of horrible human being. That's what the media and Democrats have portrayed this man. Let's put it this way. He gave them what they wanted also. He should never have tweeted. If he had deleted his own Twitter account 2 years before November, things would have been different, very different. But the best thing that ever happened to President Trump is that he's banned off Twitter, which is basically going to tank Twitter completely. But that's another story. Republicans do not serve, I'll get to the article in a second, but it's good that they censored Liz Cheney. Republicans do not serve as an opposition voice. They don't provide the country with a different vantage point. You have Mitt Romney, Mittens, Ben Sass, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski. You have all of these never-Trumpers. You have all of these Richard Burr, Senate Intelligence Committee. You have all of these never-Trumpers within the Republican Party investigating a Republican president, telling people like James Comey and Peter Strzok and James Clapper and John Brennan, you know what, it's okay, go ahead. Go after Trump. It's fine. Yeah. If Trump might have worked with Russia, just investigate. It's based on a dossier that Clinton purchased. See, the Republican Party before 2016 would have never allowed a Steele dossier to enter American politics, or even the intelligence community. A Republican Party... See, I'm not a Republican. I'm not speaking as... I was a lifelong Democrat. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. And I supported President Trump because I will oppose the Lincoln Project. Wherever they go, I am going to oppose them. I do not want Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld's never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. I want Americans home. I want American soldiers, men and women, home from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Back to their families, their husbands, their wives, their sons, their daughters, their fathers, their mothers, their families, their friends. I want them home. Liberal Democrats don't care. If you said climate change to them, oh my God, it's like, climate change is an important issue. It's not as important as bringing Americans home. For many, many reasons. If you want to say, the planet's at stake. Yeah, the planet's at stake also if you put a whole bunch of militaries from nuclear powers in one powder keg of a location in the world. That's not a good thing. When you have Hillary Clinton saying she wants a no-fly zone above Damascus with Russian jets flying, yeah, that's not good. You're looking at Top Gun 2, 3, 4. But anyway, the point here is media can get away with pretty much anything. Being an extension of the Democratic Party. Democrats, Hollywood, intel community officials or corrupt intelligence officials, they can do whatever they like in terms of the media spin or propaganda or any type of nefarious practice, or, they can level any accusation against Trump and investigate any accusation against Trump because they know that Republicans will not back President Trump. They know that the Republican Party, the GOP, it doesn't speak with one voice. They don't have one goal in mind the way the Democrats do. And so Democrats, whether, like, for example, you can have one person who says the most horrendous thing. This is a couple years back. Horrendous thing. What they'll say is, well, we're not going to go after that one individual. We'll say that all horrendous things are bad. And so Ted Cruz had a resolution. They watered that down. And then AOC says, I voted for that resolution. It's like, no, you voted for the watered down resolution because you didn't want to focus on one specific comment from a specific legislator, from a specific congresswoman. So what they do is pure public relations, and the media it continues and is beholden to that kind of vantage point, helps promote that vantage point. I'm speaking in roundabout terms, but you need a Republican Party that actually speaks with one voice. You need to kick the never-Trumpers out of the Republican Party because Trump should stand for, and he needs to completely revamp, revitalize, rebrand himself. Okay, Trump is great at building a brand. The brand tanked because of social media. I shouldn't say the brand tanked, but people, Democrats, liberal Democrats who didn't care about politics, who just would always vote liberal or would always vote for the Democratic Party, they didn't really care about politics, suddenly were consumed with contempt for one man. Trump should never have insulted NFL athletes. He should never have insulted LeBron James. He should never have done those things, okay? This is why it's kind of a good thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not, can't be on social media anymore. Okay, very good thing. What took place was all the accomplishments that President Trump was able to achieve. They were not championed because his words overshadowed them. Media and a great many people in this country judge a politician now by their words, not by their actions. Okay? By their words. So President Trump's brand, or the word Trump, the image of President Trump became this monster and this ogre, and it was like that even in 2015, 2016, but when he became president, even though they were after him, even though they set him up and framed him with a dossier that Clinton purchased, even though the Republicans were after him, he could have simply toned down the rhetoric. Instead, he put the pedal to the metal, and it was a sledgehammer, bulldozer. It was just, every tweet was this knockout punch. Every single tweet was this tackle. I didn't care about the tweets because I said, oh, you know what? That's just, who cares about social media? Then it took me a while to realize, took me the past 6 months to realize, that's their life. Democrats live in cyberspace. They don't live in reality. Perception is reality to them. Public relations, social media, and they have every conceivable possible advantage, including Republican. And the biggest thing they have is Republicans who are petrified of media. And the never-Trumpers who say, I'm just going to stand up and remember, we could bring this party back. Jeb Bush, where are you? It's like, they'll never again, if they ever have Ben Sasse or Mitt Romney or Jeb Bush as nominee, I will enjoy Biden crushing them. Not because I like Biden, because Biden would annihilate Ben Sasse or Mitt Romney or Jeb Bush type, or Paul Ryan type of Republican. Trump, the populist policies that he stands for, renegotiating NAFTA into the USMCA, it's better for the country. It's better for the working class. When Democrats talk, or when the far left says working class, and the USMCA is better than NAFTA for the average American. It's better. Okay? Tariffs we will be third in the world in terms of economics, a distant third to China and India. There's no stopping that. We're going to be a distant third. We will have very little influence, or I should say, we will have a lot less influence in the world in terms of economics than China and India in 30 years. Now, we're the number one economic power. So, what China wanted was the Trans-Pacific Partnership. They didn't care. That actually benefits them. They did not want tariffs. So tariffs are a short-term economic strategy that CEOs said, okay, for the short term, let's implement them, because now we can actually implement them. The pandemic happened, and we had record low unemployment, record low Black and Latino unemployment, record low unemployment, even with those tariffs. Well, now the pandemic wasn't Trump's fault, but they painted it as Trump's fault. What I'm trying to say to you is that there were things that President Trump was able to do that no other Republican or Democrat would have done. The knock on him is that, well, no Republican would do this. Yeah, that's why he's so appealing to people, because there are things that he did that no other politician would do. Okay, remove our presence set the groundwork to remove our presence from a region of the world we've been in for 20 years. No Republican or Democrat would do that. That's why Trump was so great. His brand took tanked because of social media. People who didn't care about politics were consumed with disdain and contempt for Trump because Democrats could say, okay, look what he said this time. Look what he did this time. Look what he said on social media. Any achievement was swept under the rug. And so you have here, 15 minutes in, Cheney defended her vote in a statement after the state party censure. The Wyoming Republican Party, the people of Wyoming did a great thing. Wyoming is full of amazing, wonderful, amazing people. Only the most amazing people in Wyoming. The Wyoming Republican Party on Saturday voted to censure Representative Liz Cheney for her vote to impeach former President Donald Trump, the latest blowback the member of House leadership has faced from within her party. Just 8 of the 74 members of Wyoming Central Committee opposed the censure move, so almost everybody. Cheney did not attend the meeting. A censure document accused Cheney of moving to impeach Trump without due process, which is true. Trump had nothing directly to do with what took place. He didn't tell people to do anything. He's protected under the First Amendment, and they're not going after him in a court of law. They're going after him only in Congress. And that's another thing. They can impeach Trump 50 times. I'll still vote for him if the Lincoln Project... Well, I'll still vote for President Trump for a number of reasons. Only president ever to sign an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses. That is, move the embassy to Jerusalem. Recognize the Golans as belonging to Israel. These are things that no other president would have done. Presided over the Abraham Accords. Peace between North and South Korea, the beginning of. You have leaders in South Korea and Israel telling Biden, please, let's just continue President Trump's foreign policy. In other words, they want to continue Trump's legacy. The man did good things, lasting things. He left the world better off, objectively, than when he came in. President Obama, and especially Bush, left the world worse off. Ask the people of Libya. Ask the people in all the countries that Bush invaded. That's a fact. There's not even up for debate. President Obama and Bush lost elections because, or I should say, Clinton lost an election because people were tired of President Obama's politics. They didn't have the viewpoint that he accomplished such tremendous or paradigm-changing things. And if anything, there was that failed NATO intervention that turned a country into a failed state. The worst, infinitely worse than anything Trump ever did. But President Obama gets away with it. Trump can't even move away from a tweet because perception is reality to Democrats, and they live within cyberspace. And Republicans don't speak with one voice. Soon they will. There's no true opposition political party keeping media and Democrats at bay or in check. Or, you look at the fact checkers. Whenever you read a fact check from Snopes or factcheck.org or the Washington Post and the conclusion is, we rate this, okay, no one gives up what you rate. So when you rate something, it's your opinion. A fact check is very simple. Look up, get your encyclopedia out, or go and find a sports almanac. Or it's just very simple. Who won in 1955 the World Series? Who won? I'm asking you. Okay, did you say it was the Yankees? No, a fact check. Fact check. It was the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1955 who won the World Series. That's it. End of story. Don't know. We rate it. I rate, in my opinion, of 3 Pinocchios. The Brooklyn Dodgers did win, but other teams were just as good, and so they did win, but so we rated this. No. A fact check is very simple. You're checking a fact, and that's it. You're leaving the argument. You're leaving the discussion. You have nothing to do with 2 opposing sides. You're checking one fact, and that's it. You're not focusing on sentiment. Or subjective matters. Now what they do is we rate this. Then they even said, did this congressperson exaggerate? And if someone exaggerates, that's oftentimes a subjective, evaluation. They're what fact-checking organizations, and oh my God, Trump lies. And nobody lied more than President Obama and Bush. Nobody. You can go through the litany, the endless stream, and about big things like Libya and Iraq and Afghanistan. Those lies cost the lives of a great many people and ruin the lives of a great many people around the world and even in this country. Okay, President Trump's lies were like hyperbolic. He said something in the Washington Post. Trump said this is the best economy. It wasn't the best economy. There was a better economy 35 years ago. It's a good economy. Yeah, it's a good economy, you know. But it's not the best. It's not the best. It's not the best economy. You see how Trump lies. It's the post-truth moment. And they get the typical apoplectic, seething, fuming, free press. Free. Very free. Very free. So free. Free press. And then you get the performance artists in the White House press corps. I just want to let you know, you're going to apologize to everybody for what you did. Trump fed them this. He gave them this. He could have just toned down a little bit, played the game. There's a game of politics. He wanted to become a politician. He did. But there was a game to be played. And he'll learn from that. The best, I'm telling you, the best thing to ever happen to President Trump and the movement that he created, which accomplished many great things, was that he's not on social media. My God almighty. Thank God. Thank God. I don't say this because I want this. Like, they shouldn't be banning people because they're just promoting one viewpoint because the Republicans don't oppose these viewpoints. They just sit there like, what do we do? That'll change soon. In 2022, you'll have Trump Republicans taking over the House, hopefully the Senate, instant impeachment, and any kind of nonsense that's leveled against the United States or the American people or the electorate from media spinning something or Democrats spinning something, you'll get a pushback. You'll get a different vantage point. And then hopefully there will be debate and discourse and discussion. Okay? I'm all over the place as usual. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Never Trumpers need to be kicked out politically of the Republican Party. The only Republican I ever voted for in my life was Trump. So, well, I think I voted, just straight Republican in this election because Democrats are. I don't have to get into it. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I only did so because of President Trump. Give me your